Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the show. Hopefully, you're here able to make it. I know it's a big Monday night football game, but I really had no other option but to do it here tonight. If you look at my studio, it's kind of getting a little bit backed up, or I guess rather empty, because I am about to be heading to Vietnam in a couple days. So I'm packing everything up, but I wanted to get this live stream in. I'm very excited. Not sure if anybody's going to actually join today. Hopefully you're catching this on the replay. More people watch on the replay. Today we're going to be going over the BCN Awards. Who are the big winners? Who are the big losers? We're also going to talk about the Canon VR push, the new software that they're having. We're going to try to dive a little deeper into that and see maybe what it means for the future of Canon and whether this is even a good idea. We're also going to go over the new lenses that are supposed to be coming out. There's some pretty big heavy rumors about a new Sony 20-70 f4. We're going to talk about that. There's also some rumors about some new super telephoto lenses coming out of Canon. So we kind of have a big, I guess, day to go over everything. Let me quickly jump into the comment section first, and let's see if anybody's here. Not sure if anybody's really going to talk to me today because, you know, it is Monday Night Football. But hopefully you're here on the replay. If you are here watching on the replay, hit that like button. Consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel. Very much appreciate it. All right, let's see here. So, as I suspect, we do have somebody that doesn't care about football today. If you're here and you're watching, hit that like button. This was a last minute one. Oh, hey Kim, appreciate you. Appreciate you showing up. This was a little bit of a last minute one because we are currently packing right now, about to go to Vietnam for the foreseeable future. I don't know. We have a lot of stuff to pack up, so did want to get a live stream in. But if everything goes according to plan, next time I'm going live, it will be in Vietnam. All right, so let me go ahead and go over to the first story we got here. And hopefully if you're here, then you can start jumping into the comment section. All right. So coming out of Canon Rumors, we have some super telephoto lenses that have basically been rumored for a while now. Now they're supposed to be coming out, but we're not exactly sure which one it's going to be. And there are a few vacancies in the RF lineup. So we will maybe speculate on it. So maybe we'll speculate on it for at least a little bit. Let me go ahead. It's right here at Canon Rumors. Let's see. Here we go. So it says a new super telephoto lens will be announced soon. So let's see what they think it is. There has been a lot of patents and talk about a new big white lenses coming from Canon. From the RF 200 to 500 f4 1.5x zoom to the RF 500 f4L IS USM. There's also the possibility of more lenses from the design team of the 600 to 600 f11 and the RF 800 f11. Canon has admitted to more lenses like those coming in the future. For now, we've been told that a popular super telephoto lens will get a RF mount and a completely new design. Unfortunately, source did not divulge the exact lens that we can expect to see announced in the next month or two. If we had to guess, both the EF 200 to 400 f4L IS 1.4 and the EF 500 f4L IS USM 2 need RF equivalents. So, yeah, that's kind of where they're breaking down at. I think it's kind of interesting if they decide to actually push it up and go for a 200 to 500 f4 instead of actually saying, instead of doing the 200 to 400 like they did on the EF mount. Maybe there's room for both, but I don't think I don't think that they would do both. I do wonder if you do the 200 to 500, are you able to get image stabilization in that as well? So apparently right here, the image stabilization is here, the IS in the EF mount. So I would like to see image stabilization carry over to the 200 to 500 personally, especially when you get that big of a lens. I know the new bodies from Canon, like, just, they have really great stabilization, at least when it comes to actually like filming and not maybe vlogging, because you're not getting that wobble. But when it comes to filming, it has that great stabilization, and it's even better if you can turn it on and add it to the lens. And when you have a super telephoto lens like that, I mean, it's always good to have a little bit of extra stabilization. Anytime you're in 2 to 500, you need to crank up the shutter speed quite a bit. But if you're able to bring it down just a little bit, get a little bit more light in, just because by the nature of it having image stabilization, that's good, as well as, for some video. But I mean, most of the time you're not going to handhold 200 to 500. I've learned that the hard way. I've tried to handhold that before. It's just that it doesn't matter if I slowed it down 4 times. It was really terrible. So yeah, most of the time you're not going to do that anyways. But I guess, most of the time you're going to lock that shot off. But I would personally like to see image stabilization. I always think that's a good idea. But I just wonder the amount of weight that would be added if it is at 200 to 500. A 500 FLIS, I mean, that sounds like a good deal as well. But if you had a 200 to 500 F4, I don't necessarily see as much of a need, or I wouldn't see it as being as beneficial. I mean, it's always nice to have a prime, don't get me wrong, but right now, Canon RF mount, it needs to be filling some voids, and I think them maybe not doing too many cross focal lengths, that's kind of where I would break down. I think that they should, I guess that's kind of what he's saying right here, that they both, so a 200 to 400, it's a need, as well as a 500. So if that pattern of an RF 200 to 500 is reliable, then maybe they are covering both in one lens. And you can always go back and add some extra primes later. But considering that Canon has kicked out third-party manufacturers, I think it's a good idea for them to fill the gaps in as fast as they can. All right, let's go ahead and go over here. What are your thoughts? Drop in the comment section below and let me know. All right, so let's go back here to the comments. I do have some people watching. Oh, what's up, Jason? What's going on, man? Yeah, I am live. It's kind of was a spur of the moment live. I've been waiting for some news to build up. There was no news to build up. I was gonna go live on Friday. I was gonna go my normal time, but then the Osler hammer came back. So David Osler, he decided to start doing lives again, and I'm guessing he's gonna be taking Friday night. So I don't want to go up against that handsome Australian. So I'm probably going to go back to Saturday nights, I'm assuming. But right now with like the playoff football, it's kind of all up in the air, at least back here in the States. I'm going to be on your side of the hemisphere. I'm going back to Vietnam here on Wednesday. So I had to get in a live stream before I went. Some news built up. We had the BCN Awards just drop. So yeah. Anyways, if you're here and you're watching, drop in the comments. We'll talk, drop in the live chat, hit that like button, get this out to more people. We'll have a more in-depth conversation. Jason said, wow, a 200 to 500 f4, that's incredible. I've used Sony's 400 f4 GM and it's like 12,000 US. Yeah, an f4 200 to 500, that does seem nuts a little bit to me. I mean, it seems that would probably be stupid expensive. I'm thinking. I could be wrong. Now I know a 70, but I know it changes as you get. I don't use many super telephoto lenses, so maybe I have some ignorance in this area. But I think that when you kind of get up a little bit larger, a lot of times the f-stops are usually a little bit higher, obviously. So yeah, I mean, like usually a 70 to 200 f4 is the more cheaper version than the 2.8, of course. But I think if you went 200 to 500 f4, I mean, that's pretty consistent and would be pretty amazing. Apparently there is a 200 to 400 that they already had with the EF mount. So if they want to, push it a little bit with the RF mount, I think that'd be really cool. One thing I will say is that I feel like, okay, here we go. Jason said a 100 to 400 GM is a 4.5 to 5.6. That's the best they got. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, and that's a variable aperture right there. So yeah, yeah, it would be incredible. I think that, if I'm not mistaken, that's a fairly older lens. I think one thing that a lot of people have been somewhat disappointed in is the lack of real innovation when it comes to like mirrorless. I think the dream of mirrorless has been that you're going to be able to get way different lenses, just because I guess maybe it's I can't actually think of the proper word, but basically I think that the sensor sits further back. So you're supposed to be able to theoretically get lighter lenses and more unique lenses. And we've seen some of that. I mean, they're doing the f2 and they have the 1.2s. So there is some of that, but I think it's been, I guess, a little less innovative than what we've heard. Actually, Sony has a fairly interesting lens that they're talking about here over at Sony Alpha Rumors, and so let me go ahead and go over to that right away, because we don't have to make this a separate individual one. So let me go over here and share this. So on Sony Alpha Rumors, they say that there's a possibility of a 20 to 70 f4 coming. Now I don't know, when is he saying that? In total, 3 sources now confirm that this lens will be announced tomorrow, January 17th. So, okay. So unfortunately, Jason probably can't give me any insights because he's probably testing this thing. But this sounds pretty cool. I'm a little bit confused by the price of this thing. So, I like 20 to 70. I think that's interesting that you're going 20 to 70 instead of going 24 to 70. But you have this 24 to 105 right now that's an f4, as well as, Canon has their 24 to 105. I don't know why it would be this expensive. I guess that's my confusion. It's because, if you look at this, I'm not sure what the Sony one is. I guess we can go ahead and do that. Let's go to B&H. Let's do that. 24 to 105. Okay. So what is the price on this? So I know this is an older lens and it would be more of an update, but this is $1,300 US. I can't exactly remember what that, I think the euro and the dollar are very comparable right now. Usually the euro is quite a bit more, but they've dropped a bit. So it's just a little bit confusing. Why would you then, I get you're getting a little extra on the wide and it's a newer lens. I just personally feel like that, let's see here. It could be really good, but at f4, if it's a 20 to 70 f4, could be a great lens for a lot of people. I just personally think it should be cheaper than $1,600, personally. Assuming that it's going to be $1,600 US as well. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people like the idea of it. You're getting the benefits here is that you're getting a 24 to 105, so you're technically getting more range, but a lot of people like a more of a vlogger, lens or whatever. You can go down, if you went to 20, 20 is a fairly decent vlogger lens. I personally would like to go wider if you're doing vlog, but this could be a great, one lens to rule them all for a lot of people who are, trying to, be the next Casey Neistat. Who isn't? Yeah, but to me, it's a little bit expensive. Right here, they're saying it's similar size to the 24 to 105. See images on the top. Sharper than the first generation 24 to 70 GM. And very little distortion, 72 millimeter. I wonder if this is going to be a PZ. They're going to do a power zoom on this. I could see them doing a power zoom, kind of like they did with their latest 16 to 35 f4. That would be interesting if they did that. That one might be cool. I know a lot of photographers don't like that, but I'm more video centric, so I do. All right, let's go her. Sorry, I'll never say her again. Jason. Jason said he didn't know, but I don't trust Jason anymore with his I don't knows, because a lot of times he knows, and tomorrow I would not be surprised if I go on his channel and there's like a review about that lens tomorrow. And it's okay either way. He said, wow, 20 millimeter is a nice wide range, that it's handy. Yeah, I completely agree. I think for a lot of people, that is a better range than a lot of people. I guess than for, let's say, modern people who are trying to be creators like online, which a lot of people are. 20 is a really nice wide lens. I like the focal length overall. I just wonder if it should be a little cheaper. If the 24 to 105, which is also a very versatile lens, is like $1,300, and the same, it's like $1,200 to $1,300 in the RF mount as well. To me, I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm not exactly sold on my own idea, so maybe I am wrong. Robert says, you are competing against NFL playoffs. Yeah, that was a bad choice. Milk's a bad choice. Yeah, probably not the best idea, but what am I going to do? Yeah, so I mean, I was going to say, Robert, I don't know if you were here earlier, but yeah, I was waiting. Friday night, I was kind of wanting to make Friday nights the thing, because I personally I think Friday nights is a pretty good night for a lot of people. And it seemed like I was getting a lot of people to join on Friday nights. But there wasn't much news Friday, so I didn't want to just like rehash a lot of the things we already talked about. But that wasn't the biggest issue. The big issue that I was glad I didn't go live on Friday night was that David Osler, I mean, he returned. He made his glorious return, the chosen one. He hasn't went live for like over a month, and now he's probably starting back on Fridays for the new year. He probably took off for some holiday season stuff. But if he's back and he's laying claim, I mean, that's his Friday. I'm not going to compete with him. I'll compete with football all day. I'm not going to compete with David Osler. Is it Osler or Osler? Sometimes I miss say it. But anyways, I'm not going to compete with that. He was one of the first guys I really started watching when it came to like camera YouTube stuff. So anyways, good guy. Jason, have you met David? I mean, you're both in Australia. I know Australia's huge, but you're both in YouTube, in the camera industry in Australia, YouTube camera industry. Have you met David, or possibly like seen him at like a Sony thing or something? Because he's a big Sony guy as well. Robert said, wider than 20 millimeter leads to a lot of distortion. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you can still push it a little bit. I mean, yeah, I get it. I think it's just part of the nature of the beast. You're going to get some distortion there, but personally, I would like it to be even wider if you're going to get, to have that option. If you can bring it back to 20 and there's very little distortion or whatever, then I would like to have the distorted wider option. Now, if it's distorted all the way through and it's causing distortion all the way through, I guess, that's a different equation. But yeah. So do we want to go ahead and move on to, what do we want to do next? Let's go ahead and go over to this next story about the Canon VR stuff. Cause I don't know how long I'm packing up right now to leave for Vietnam. So I don't know how long I'm going to be doing the live stream tonight. And I don't know how many people are going to. I appreciate everybody that's here. Sorry, I don't mean to sound bad. But that being said, I don't know how big of a conversation we can all have, because I know some people are just, you're here to watch and listen, not necessarily interact. And I also know that I'm competing with football. But definitely appreciate you, Robert and Jason, for showing up, because it's much better to do a live stream when there's people and not feel ridiculous. But let me go ahead and go over to this next story here. So, according to Canon Rumors, or I guess it's actually a press release, it's out there in the open. Canon has a new VR project. It was at the CES of 2023 that they have unveiled it. It's a new software. It's kind of interesting what they're doing, and I figure we could go over it. Maybe VR is going to be a new push for them. Possibly. I know that they did the lens that came out. They had that interesting VR lens for the RF mount, but it looks like they're pushing even further into VR. And so hopefully this will be a good endeavor for them, as long as they don't, of course, give up on the things that we love them for. So this is Canon Rumors here. It says Canon launches the Kokomo, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, solution. So they're saying that a leader in digital imaging solutions will launch free early access to the Kokomo software in February 2023. They're showcasing the first application for a virtual reality VR platform that enables face-to-face communication in a virtual live action video. So a virtual space with live action video using easy to use equipment. This is kind of confusing, but really cool. It says Canon first announced the development of Kokomo software back in 2022. So apparently this is finally coming out. What's interesting about it is I'm not 100% sure how they're making this work. So it says Kokomo Applications is a VR software developed by Canon that embodies the three elements of real together experience. These three elements help to represent the overarching product mission of the new means of communication: to be there and to share your own image, facial expression, and even clothing you are wearing. The Kokomo application uses a compatible consumer VR headset and a capable smartphone, allowing the friends and family to experience being together no matter where they are. So really cool. So basically it's, in the VR space, you're letting you share. VR is the big thing now, but they're letting you share the space around you as well as your facial expressions. That's something that I guess, Meta has been trying to crack for a while now with their, Meta Pro device. I don't know how great that is actually received, but I'm kind of interested to see what's Canon's going to do with this. Because you had to have the actual in the camera to like see your facial expressions to actually make it work. But here, I'm not sure if you're actually going to need that. They have a different solution. I think it's going to be kind of interesting. I'll go back over here to see how they actually might be giving you your facial expressions in a VR with actually not maybe using the cameras inside. So we'll see. Without the need for multiple cameras or complex system requiring professional settings, face-to-face communication as a virtual space can be achieved with the simple configuration of a commercially available compatible VR headset. So I'm thinking that more than likely this is going back to the Quest 2, which is the biggest one that's still out, and a compatible smartphone. Users can easily register using smartphone applications and connect with a caller who also has a compatible VR headset and registers for the Kokomo application. Communicating with each other in a remote location with the same ease of operation as a familiar call application, with realistic sensations of being face-to-face in a real-life setting while viewing each other's images. So they're kind of showing it here, like basically your phone is sitting right here and looking at you. From what I'm kind of understanding. I don't know if I just want to read this word for word. I guess I can. And maybe somebody will get a different outlook on it. But what's confusing me, if there's not the cameras that they're using, because it looks like they're showing an Oculus right here. I mean, they probably don't have it actually saying on it, but very few of the consumer versions of VR headsets, or, you know, not on the very high end of the prosumer or even the developer style, that actually have the cameras inside that track your facial movements. It looks like they're going to be using the phone to track your face here, like, so your smiles. And then they're also going to be using, like right here, the image processing technology developed by Canon US represents the user's image in live action in a virtual space with the image captured by the compatible smartphone, allowing users to make an immersive call video viewing the other party surrounding in 3D in the virtual space using compatible VR headsets. The immersive call with live representation allows social interactions to be accessible to one's home, hotel, dorm room, or access to other stuff. So when using a VR headset that covers the user's field of vision, a highly immersive visual experience unobstructed by screens frames can be achieved. And by using a compatible smartphone to capture the full body image, users can communicate with gestures and other forms of communication. In addition, the media player for functions, photos, blah, 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 blah. So it's just kind of confusing the way that they're going to do this. Is it going to still be, are they going to actually have you take a picture of yourself and kind of somewhat 3D do it in there? Like, so you're getting the live look at everything else, but I don't think they're going to be just showing you with a headset on. You're going to be seeing the full expression. So does this have to be one of the newer VRs that actually have like the eye recognition? Or, you know, Canon has been tracking people's eyes for a while with the R3, and they kind of developed their own like tracking stuff. So I wonder if they used some of that data to be able to actually look at people's eyes expressions, and possibly, you know, if they take maybe a picture of you in your environment and then they get the rest of you, maybe just by the nature of you moving your face, they can, you know, somewhat deep fake your eyes onto your face. I don't know how they'll do it, because your eyes are like the biggest thing, but that would be crazy if they're able to actually make people's eyes move, even if they can't see exactly what you're doing with your eyes. So I'm very interested to see Canon's take on this. But I'm not going to spend too much more time on it. I know I primarily do camera stuff, so I'm not really going to take too much extra time here, but I am interested. It is coming from Canon. I wish them the best to grow their company, of course, so we can get better cameras. But they're doing fairly well with all the other stuff. So it's very interesting. But what are your thoughts about Canon getting into the VR space? Do you like this idea of this new app? Are you as confused as I am? Maybe drop in the comment section below and explain it better than I do. Maybe you know a little bit more about it. I am excited to see what they have in store. Let me know in the comment section down below. All right, let's go back to the chat. All right. Robert says, I know all those words, but I can't make sense of them together in those sentences. Yeah, I am slightly confused by it too, Robert, to be very frank about everything. It's just, I'm kind of confused the way that they're doing it. I read over it. This is like my third time reading it, and I'm just kind of like sitting there being like, I don't understand how they're going to make this work. I do wonder if they've been using, I'm pretty sure that you had to give consent. Like when you had the R3, when people were using the R3 and actually using that tracking that they've been using with those cameras to track eyes, I think they probably had to get some data from that. So I'm wondering if it's possible that they got some data out of that, and maybe they don't even have to look at your eyes if they can look at the way your face is doing. I don't know. It would be kind of interesting. I think in a way it seems like it would need the newer headsets, but the newer headsets, you know, have their own version of it. But if they're able to like maybe take a picture and It had to virtually recreate stuff. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm interested to see them try. If you're here and you're watching and you're enjoying or you're listening or whatever the case is, drop in this comments and we'll talk in live chat. But if you're just listening and enjoying, hit that like button. It gets it out to more people and it really helps out the channel. And oh yeah, I'm pushing 2,000 subscribers. I've been like stuck in this like 1990 range for a while. So if you are here and you have not subscribed and you're able and you like me, you really like me, hit that subscribe button as well. I very, very, very much appreciate it. So yeah, if there's anybody here that's wanting to chat, let me know. Otherwise, I will just go over to the next story because we have the BCN Awards. This literally just happened. Like this, the BCN Awards just came out. I was making my thumbnail for the Canon, VR headset stuff. And as soon as I was making the thumbnail for the VR headset, I was like titling everything out, ready to hit to go live. I refreshed Mirrorless Rumors, and sure enough, we had the BCN Award winners that was announced. And so I just added a little bit of that to the thumbnail, and I was like, well, that's the new title here because the BCN Awards are a pretty big deal. So let's go ahead and jump over to that. How about that? And then we can chat about it because I'm sure there's going to be some anger in this room or in this chat room. Okay, so the BCN Awards just were announced, and well, let's see who the big winners and losers are. This is coming to us from Mirrorless Rumors, who has the list right here. It says the BCN Award 2023 winners announced. So I'm guessing this is going back to, it's really kind of more of a snapshot of 2022 than 2023 because yeah, we're just starting 2023. But yeah, let's go here. Digital camera with integrated lens department. So now DSLR. So Sony won here. Then Canon was in second, and then third. Okay, so so is this? Oh, this is just talking about the department. Digital. Okay, let me go down here. Why am I getting confused? All right, so digital integrated lens category. The share in okay, is the last year's share. Okay, so 22% share, 18%, 17% for Fuji. Digital camera SLR category. First is Canon, second Nikon, third Canon. Digital mirrorless SLR category Canon, and then second is Sony, and then third is wow, OM Digital actually showed up. That's interesting. Digital video camera category. If you could drop here in the comments and explain some of this category to me, the way that they're breaking these things out. It's been a while. It's been a year since I went over the other, and this did just drop right before I went live, so I didn't have a chance to actually look over this and dissect it. But I can't exactly remember how the BCN Awards are actually divvied out, or how they're doing all this different stuff. So digital video camera category, they have Panasonic, and then second place is Sony, and third place DJI. Action category, number one is GoPro. And then you have DJI, and then GoPro still win. Personally, I think that action cameras now should be the 360 cameras. In my mind, should take it. So that's what I would do. Interchangeable lens category, last year's share in the parentheses. Okay. So interchangeable lens category, first is Sony, second is Canon, and then third is Sigma. So this is the camera accessories category. Tripod, monopod category. Why am I being confused here? BCN Award 2023. The BCN organization collected the exact sales numbers. Okay, so it's not like it's yeah, exact sales numbers from 40% of Japanese stores and is the market share of the camera companies. Okay, so now that clarifies a lot. I thought it was sales, but then it made me start wondering if this was like a camera. Is the way they announced it was like camera of the year, and then yeah, so it doesn't necessarily matter. GoPro just happened to have the sales, but I am confused of how they're divvying this all out. Like I can't exactly know the difference. I guess integrated lenses or interchangeable lenses here, lens category, and this is the accessories. So it's interesting to me. I don't know what I've gathered from it. Maybe that's just my lack of knowledge here. I do see that Sony is doing really well overall. It looks like Canon's still doing great, but I can't exactly see you know who are the biggest winners and losers here. I still would think that Canon has the most market share, but I do think Sony is making up the ground here fairly fast. And this did just happen, so maybe I'm just I need to go dissect it a little bit more so I can. I remember like they actually you can go into the categories and look and see, but I can't exactly remember how they're breaking these things up because they really subdivide everything out really well. You have your um, no interchangeable lens. You have your the lenses that have to actually just like point and shoot cameras and things like that. So for some reason, I am not understanding how this is all working out. Last year's shares in parentheses. So technically, it looks like wow. Okay, so now this is changing things up. So Sony went down some, even though it's still in first. Oh no, yeah, Sony went down some, but Canon went really far down. Uh, that's crazy. So Canon went up though in the SLR category. So is that DSLR, and then up here is mirrorless, or here's mirrorless. Oh, okay, yeah, that's. I think it went up because basically a lot of other people have jumped out of there. So yeah, um, maybe this is the overall, like the bigger one overall, and then maybe these are just the subcategories. So like this is the mirrorless DSLR, and this is the regular DSLR, because that makes sense why Sony wouldn't even be on this list. OM Digital is kind of interesting for me though. Where's Nikon? Fujifilm getting third here is pretty interesting as well. Anyways, maybe you can make more heads or tails of this thing. What do you think is? I don't know. What do you think? Personally, what do you think is the big winner here? Are you surprised by the results? Are you, maybe not so surprised? Do you understand it quite a bit better than me? Drop in the comment section below and let me know. All right, so I don't know. I completely confused myself on that one. I don't know why. Robert, of course, he's going to tell me how things work. Integrated cameras are point and shoot. Integrated, okay. Yeah, okay. Gotcha. Sony went up due to the ZV-1. Yeah, okay, because Canon really hasn't had many of those in a while, have they? I mean, I'm trying to think because sometimes in Japan they have other cameras that come out that we don't have here. Like I know that the Fujifilm, their like interesting point and shoot camera was really big. The one that had like its own film. I think it was like a film camera, wasn't it? Like it would actually shoot out like a little print. And I know they were selling like crazy, and that makes sense why they would come up in third. So the digital SLR integrated lens. So the digital SLR is just a DSLR, right? So that's that's where the lenses are. That's like a regular DSLR. That makes sense why Sony's not on there because they don't have. They just have they have the mirrorless DSLR. So on DSLR, they have Canon went up. So that's interesting from 59.8%. And okay, even in DSLR mirrorless, Canon went up as well, and Sony went down. I wish I would have paid attention better because I'm. And then OM Digital went up. Like share and percentages. This is kind of interesting. Japanese stores. The BCN numbers, though, is this just that snapshot of, because there's different ones that have snapshots of different time periods. Is the BCN the one that they just do it for the year, or do they do it month to month as well? Because I know another company or another one does it month to month. So I don't know if they're talking about the entire year. They're saying 2023 category. So are they talking about just the month of? Yeah, I'm kind of a little bit. I confused myself. Maybe I shouldn't have did this topic until I read everything. But I haven't seen the BCN Awards in a while. So I know there's other companies that do the, Teragati or whatever it's called, or Tamagotchi. Tamagotchi. I might be saying all that wrong. But they have another one as well. So I'm not sure. That probably will not be clipped out because that was me being a little confused about it, the whole situation. If you are here though and you're watching, I very much appreciate it. Drop in the comments or the chat here and let's talk. If not, I'm probably going to call it early tonight. I've been packing all day, and that's probably why my brain is kind of shot. And I have a lot of packing still to go. So we leave early morning. We had to leave. Our flight is at 7 in the morning on Wednesday to head back to Vietnam. So if all goes according to plan, next time you see me live, I will be in Asia. And I may be coming to Australia, so I know I'm going to be in the other side of Australia. But if I'm in Australia at some point, Jason, you're probably just listening right now. Hopefully, you didn't jump off when I started talking about VR. But if I come to Australia, we have to make that happen. Okay, so Robert said the strange thing is Canon having such a low market share in camcorders. That was kind of confusing too. And then this panic. So that's digital video cameras, right? So would Panasonic usually be that high? I know they have, I guess. Is this interchangeable lens cameras as well? So are these like, I know Panasonic has, are big on like camcorders, but are these like, does Red and, the Venice and all those, do they all go into that category? Because if that's the case, I'm kind of surprised too. And I don't know why DJI would be there. DJI, I wonder why they're putting, are the drones, are they counting the drones as just video camera centric? Because I don't know. That's also kind of confusing to me. I'm not sure. I can't make heads or tails of it personally. I can't make. Yeah, I don't exactly know. But it does look like Sony went down some. I don't know why Panasonic would be so high. Maybe they always are, and I'm just not aware. But I'm really surprised that Canon wouldn't be on there, and that DJI would take its place. I don't know how they're breaking everything up here. If they're counting the drones, then of course DJI makes a sense. But as far as I know, DJI just has that one like really interesting. Was it like that 4D looking camera? I didn't even know that it was like really doing very well. But yeah. So I think I am going to just go ahead and call it a night. I know I was competing with Monday Night Football, and it was a little bit disorganized here. But I do have a lot of packing, and we're basically going to probably be up all night packing. So I think maybe I will just call it a night and go ahead and get back to packing and tearing down the rest of my studio. I'm sorry that it's going to be a shorter live tonight, and I apologize that I'm working and going against football. So those are two apologies that I have. But forgive me on that one, and hopefully maybe you're watching this on the replay. I know more people watch it on the replay than actually watch it live. And if you're here watching the replay, then maybe go ahead and drop down in the comment section below and let me know how disorganized I was today and how my brain was somewhere completely different. Or just drop in the comment section below and just let me know, what actually interested you the most out of all the different categories that we went over. If you haven't subscribed, do consider hitting that subscribe button. I very, very, very much appreciate it. It would help me get to 2,000 and, hopefully beyond. And so I'm very excited about that. Thanks for showing up if you're watching me live, and thank you for watching me after the fact. And until next time, if I can go back to my computer and hit it right. Peace.